Dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. Fanspeak. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Meg and Steve, that OG vision. Yeah. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fanspeak. Fanspeak team. Printing money since day one. Fanspeak, forever.
We are back. The big board is live. The little board is live. Even the bigger board is live, as is the War Room. We are in the pre-draft 2026 Underdog Streets. Best ball is back. One game left in this NFL season, the Super Bowl. What everyone predicted at the beginning of the year: Patriots versus Seahawks. And yeah, I mean, great games on Sunday for the conference championships. Obviously, the weather became a factor with the first game, but the second game was a fun shootout. Really, I would have loved to have seen the Rams go, but really liked seeing Seattle as well. I was always higher on them, and just really respect Mike McDonald, Clint Kubiak, and of course Sam Darnold and the rest of that team. For what they put together, both sides of the ball. So looking forward to the Super Bowl, that's for sure. And we can talk about that. We of course can talk about rookies, free agents. We'll talk about different teams' depth charts. We're going to do it all and do a couple drafts today. Doing it, I will get to chat in 1 second. Starting at 5 p.m. But I'm going to start doing drafts just about every day. And most days it'll be around 1 p.m. At Eastern time. That's what I'm looking at right now. But yeah, trying to get and do a lot more. There will definitely be some night streams and stuff, because I know not everyone can make the 1 p.m. Type streams. But and I definitely want to do streams with guests as well. So just want to put that out there and thank everyone for joining. Appreciate you if you're watching on YouTube, if you're coming over from the Twitter streets. Really appreciate it. Let me hit up chat and then we will get into it. A lot to talk about. We got our Mike in here, camped out. Marine Steve smiling hard today. We got our guy Eddie in here. Esteban, absolutely doing well, guys. Yeah, we got Paul, Legion 13. He actually asked in our Discord and sign up for our Discord. It is free. We're doing great discussion, really talking best ball and everything else, of course, football. But Paul asked earlier today, and I'd already planned on going on. Didn't have an exact time yet at that time, but good to be back. We got JB. Hey, best ball fam, good day to evening. Happy 2026. Let's get ready to rumble. Absolutely. Got my sister in here saying hi. Eddie, how many drafts are you going for this year? Steve, 10K. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm going to definitely be doing a lot. Depends on how much they're putting out there, of course. That depends a lot, and what types of tournaments. And let's see, Beck, Concepcion has been crazy. Almost always pulled up, even yesterday, unranked. Yeah, so I think it was just a clear, can't even say miss, but just they missed the boat on him. He's widely considered to be first round prospect or early second round at worst. I know not everyone has him there, and maybe things change, but he's probably the type of guy who has a big combine or workouts and helps his case that way. So, yeah, I feel pretty confident. He's one of the first 6-7 receivers at worst drafted, maybe in top 5. And he's just a playmaker, big time play producer, can be used in a variety of different ways, out of the backfield, everything. Kind of similar to Luther Burden in some ways, not as stockily built, that's why you get some Percy Harvin comps, but fun guy, really fun prospect. We got Paulino. Hello, Mr. Steve. Hope you're doing well. Paulino Guy Hartman in here. Looking forward to it. I need all the ball knowledge I can get. Got our guy FK in here. Lots of new info and ADPs to digest. Yeah, FK has been on it with how often they're going to be updating their ADPs. He posted it in our Discord. Some of the biggest risers and fallers from the day one. We got Green Bean in here, Eddie, Best More on Q. We got everyone. Only just noticed little board was 212 advance rate. Yes, I was going to talk about that. It wasn't at 312 last year. Also, it was 50 max last year. And I'd have to look at the total size. Right now, this looks almost like carbon copy of the Schnauzer, not the mini Schnauzer, the Schnauzer. $3.20 max, I believe like 189,000, 212, 1 to 10, 1 to 10. I'm almost positive that's what the Schnauzer was last year. That, of course, was post-draft. Yeah, so a little disappointed at the little board. How much overlay there was. So yeah, a little disappointed in that, but you can, for $3, it's $100K top prize. There's only a handful of those out there. So we'll see. But yeah, I would have still preferred them to find a way to do a 312. Almost had Concepcion in the 18th, queued him up 17th. Yeah. I mean, you're just not, from now on, you're not going to be able to push him or even Singleton that low. All right, let's get into the first draft. This contest is going to stay open a very long time. Is a 20 max. We may not get a second one. Yeah, I know. I hope they understand that, because they're actually taking away, if that's the case, like, I understand it's a bigger total contest, but you're actually taking away the number of like individual entries somebody could have. Somebody in pre-draft last year, if I'm not mistaken, both little boards were 50 max. I know the second one was 100%. So, you could have maxed out 150 for the big board, 100 for the two little boards, 4 for the war room, 5 for the bigger board, and then 4, I think, for the biggest board. So yeah, we'll actually start with a little board, but I will be doing, I want to do at least 3 drafts today. So I'll start with a little board, and then we'll do a couple big boards. I will count it down. Hope I can get some of you in there with me. But yeah, just looking at this, 2 of 12, 1 of 10, 1 of 10, 3 15 seat final. I'd have to look what last year's little board won. And I want to say the top prize was only 50K, maybe even 40K for the first one. So yeah, like I said, hopefully they'll maybe launch some other pre-draft contests. But yeah, this one probably will be open most of this draft season. So last year, I think little board 1 was filled around to the combine in mid to late February, and that left March kind of in April without a smaller contest, and until they release the other little board. So we will enter this. I will count it down. I will enter in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Okay, no location error. That's a good thing. We are off to a good start. I do have my rankings, my first crack at rankings. You'll be able to get those on our Substack tomorrow. I will definitely be changing them quite a bit. I am pretty firm in Bijan, Gibbs, 1, 2. I actually have Puka a little lower. Not so much a knock on him. It's just, if Stafford doesn't have a 46 touchdown season, Puka, it just has a harder path, where Chase should have better quarterback play. JSN should have at least the same, if not better, quarterback play. The toughest thing is to ask Stafford to repeat. Just wait for a little board too. Exactly. When March, yeah, and I think that was part of the issue why they didn't want to launch it, but then they decided to do it at the end, because maybe they thought it'd be unfair to the New York audience. I don't know, but they ended up doing it. So I just never understood why they didn't do it until super late in the process. So hopefully this is a sign that we'll get more contests than just the big board, little board, bigger board, biggest board, and war room. Particularly if, a lot of people, I'm sure they have metrics to see how many people have maxed. If, when, you get 1,000 people maxing or something like that, or 20 max, and it's okay, yeah, we probably should have some other concepts out there for them. All right. Oh, Streamer 101. We got FK in here. We got Young Mula. We got Mike in here at the 10th spot. We got Eddie in here at 11. And we got King QC Frank. I know he was posting earlier about the little board. Not sure if he's in the chat or just happened to catch him. I'm a little concerned about almost 40-year-old Stafford needing to stay healthy. Plus, yeah, exactly. And like, I understand Devontae Adams is older, but Puka needed Adams to miss that time at the end. He would not have finished wide receiver 1. And just the principle, we talk about all the time, like a running back doesn't, whose RB1 is an RB1 the next year. That's not going to, of course, CMC again. Same thing happens with receiver. Whoever's wide receiver 1 the year before is not wide receiver the next year. So I will be taking Bijan for a share. I've not had the 1-on-1 yet. And let's see, at least 3 of us in the underflow. Oh, sorry about that, Paul. Steve, do you remember which contest had the best advance rates out of round 1? So the big board is 3 of 12. The War Room's 2 of 12. I do know that. I know they launched the bigger board. I haven't looked at that. I'm guessing it's 4 of 12, like it was last year. As for once you get into regular season, those primarily were higher dollar ones. There were a few exceptions like Pomeranian 3 because there's a no rate contest, the Little Dalmatians, but mostly it was, well, right from day 1 when will it end? Yeah. But I'll be interested to see. Maybe they'll mix it up a little bit more this year. Did they think this was super flex? Yeah, seriously. That burnt me last year because all my Lamar teams didn't make the playoffs. And the rest of the elites who failed back like we never left. Good to see DJ Quill, King QC, Frank. Yep. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, King QC. Sorry about that. And it was Frank who, King of Kings. Yeah. Who I think was posting earlier. Thank God. In here. I don't want to. Oh, FK's in this one. So King QC turn here. FK went JT. Young Mula, Achan, Mike, Amon-Ra, and Eddie with James Cook. I mean, James Cook, your rushing leader, back with a good offense, so we still need to figure out the coaching situation. I think he is a great first-round pick, and one I'm a little bit more bullish on for that reason. New Year's, yep, exactly. I like it. Let's keep it up. How would you handle the Arizona quarterback situation taking McBride? Feels like no way. Yeah, no, this is a tough thing. This is something we are going to get. I think, honestly, my guess is by mid-March, we'll have an understanding. First, they need to get a new coach and then offense coordinator. But whether they trade Kyler or not, I think will be determined because it's not going to be about the draft. They're not getting Mendoza. There's no other quarterback worth taking that early. Whether they, just cut their ties with Kyler Murray, probably be in some sort of trade, and then just say, hey, we're set for a year. I can see that. So I think we will get notification, right, or information about that by mid-March. Right now, I'm not really worried about stacking in general, because there's honestly a lot of teams. We're taking, and I think it's a little high on both London and Justin Jefferson, but truly we don't know their quarterback situation next year, particularly London. I mean, Penix is almost guaranteed not to be ready to start the year. And, Cousins, they worked out an agreement where he might not be back. So I will take Derrick Henry, T. Higgins, the Josh Allen, tempting. These are my ranks. But I love Derrick Henry. I think, I know he's an older running back and everyone wants to say it's his swan song. But I think we saw how valuable he is to this team down the stretch. And, I expect Jesse Minter and, they need to figure out their new OC, but I expect them to keep riding the big dog. So yeah, just to answer the Arizona question, right now I'm not too worried about stacking. In these like questionable situations, maybe if need a third quarterback and Brissett's still there, I'd take it, but I'm not going to force it because maybe they trade Brissett. If they might stick with Kyler and say we can flip Brissett for like a 4th round pick, or maybe worst case scenarios and they keep both. So yeah, right now, if I'm taking any of these guys who I don't feel confident in their quarterback situation, another team, Steelers are another one, Jets are another one, I'm not trying to force a stack right now because to me, it's just not worth guessing. Like you can guess, and if you're wrong, you're not going to get the stack, and you might even get a guy who's literally not starting. So I'm just not going to force it too much right now. If those quarterbacks fall to me, they'll fall to me. Some of them I think will get indication earlier than others. But yeah, some might go down to the wire. Like we might not know the Falcons situation for quite some time. We might not know, if Kevin O'Connell believes in JJ McCarthy or not for quite some time. We got Fantasy Football Garage in here, Candyman, as you know him. And I hope it's going well. I know you're crushing it with the golf content. I need to start doing some golf. So I will be listening. Make sure to check out his channel. We got Kelly in here. Good luck, everyone. New season has begun. Absolutely. Paul just took my first CMC share. That's one more than last year. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like people say another 400 touches or whatever it is. Like the last couple of times he's done that, he's failed the next year. I get it. But at the same time, you also just can't deny what this guy does. And we know the 49ers are a good offense. In fact, they played down some of it. Yes, they're missing guys and CMC got more workload. Maybe next year it's a little more balanced. But it's kind of like not to the extent of the Saquon thing, because Saquon definitely wasn't with the 1st round pick, but it's not like Saquon had a bad year. He wasn't 2K Saquon for a variety of reasons. Probably the biggest one, Kevin Petula. Offense coordinator matters. The thing that CMC has is he's got a coach who loves him, and Kyle Shanahan, and knows how to use him. We got Andrew in here, TD King. What up, boss? Hope you're doing well, Andrew. I know you have been drafting and are excited for the launch. He went by so fast. A much healthier NFL season. Absolutely, 100%. I will definitely toast to that as well. Henry Higgins, no, I like that for sure. Like double drafting already in day 2 is not as optimal as one would think. I've not done that yet. Stacking in general is very tough with Wild. Yeah, and that's the other reason. Not just from my own experience when I finished 4th in the big board 2 years ago. I just didn't get the stacks. Baker was my savior quarterback, but I just didn't have a good stack with him. I had a stack with Caleb, but it wasn't a stack that paid off. And because I took Caleb knowing he'd go 1 overall, I think I took Cole Kmet. And my 3rd quarterback, I had a bad stack there also. So it's like stacking matters the absolute least amount in big board because there's so much unknowns. So coming up to the turn here, May falling is interesting. I don't have a share of May yet. Meg wants me to take Cam Scattaboo. I think I will take the falling May. And you know what? I will take Cam Scattaboo. This is the other thing. I know some people are still not big into the running back. Running back just really dries up. And we had a conversation in Discord today. There's a lot of uncertainty at this position. And after you get, I'll sort by ADP, kind of after you get past, Javonte, I guess you could say Jalen Warren, though I do think whether it's Caleb Johnson, whether it's a new guy competing with him, I mean, he was generally outplayed by Gainwell. I don't know if he's got this ironclad lock on, a feature role next year. And the offense could just be way worse if Aaron Rodgers is not back. So there's just so much uncertainty in here. And even Quinshon come back from injury. Javonte, will you resign? Ramondre, what's the split between him and Hendo? It just gets thin. And there's a lot of teams where we don't know the running back. And there's a lot of free agents. People say, and this is why I have Woody Marks far lower, is I would almost assuredly guess they're bringing someone in, whether it's Joe Mixon coming back healthy, we'll hear about that, or they bring in somebody. Because, Marks was fine as a rookie. To me, it was kind of Tyron Tracy-esque. It was good. It was good for a late round rookie, but it was not something where you're like, okay, this is our guy, 100%, absolutely dominated the position. And whether they look for a rookie or, they could bring in a free agent like a Rico Dowdle. Who would you rather have running the ball, Rico Dowdle or Woody Marks? I think the easy answer is Rico Dowdle. Or maybe trade for like a David Montgomery, who might be, falling out of some favor in Detroit. Again, who would you rather have, particularly for Underdog Fantasy, David Montgomery, touchdown machine, or Woody Marks? Tyler Algier, one of my favorites. That's why I'm, his ADP already rose considerably day one. I'm still above market on him as is. But there's just so much uncertainty at the running back position. We have a lot of teams like Minnesota. Right now, probably Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason are back, but maybe they look to cut Jones to save some money. My team, Washington. Eckler presumably retires. That leaves Chris Rodriguez, JCM, and McNichols. I don't think any of them have a firm grasp. I think, again, any mid-level free agent or traded running back or even a rookie could come in and just take that role. So, running back, I want some certainty at the position. I want three guys at least I feel confident in, because so many of these guys at the bottom, maybe you get lucky and you guess right on, JCM or something like that. But if you're wrong, JCM might not, and this sounds extreme, but he might not make the team, and a perfect example is Kamani Vidal, who ended up playing well. He actually did not make the team. It was Hampton, it was Najee, they both get injured, and then they had Haskins above them. And then all three of those guys get injured for Vidal to be re-signed to the team to make his role. And now, he is set in as, number two back behind Hampton for sure. But I just think people assume these late round backs who kind of questionable as rookies, they might not keep their role. But others could have a huge role next year. We'll talk about those later. Okay, I got Drake May, so I will get a stack here in Steph Diggs. And I'm can go Tyler Warren. So let me hit back into chat. I'm glad I only did 3 golf basketball teams. I drafted a lot of great guys who don't play in small tournaments. Yeah, that's a tough thing with golf, and particularly for the full season thing. The majors one is a little different. Music reminds me. Okay, interesting. Andrew, yeah, Meg said I had to use music. This is what we went with. We'll mix it up. I'm not a big fan of it, so I have it pretty low. Take May now before it gets Super Bowl. Yeah, that's fair. Got a robo scam on it, auto drafted me. Yeah, last place in golf, the scramble drafted somebody. Yeah, I mean, some of those will, like I said, I didn't really do any of the season long, but I think that's why I like the majors one, to focus on that. RB thins out quick. That's why I like to take the early ones right now and then roll the dice. Yeah, exactly. And also, I feel like some of these guys, like some of the later ones, look, if it ends up being, a Woody Marks, yeah, I'll get my exposure later to them. I'm just not going to go over extreme right now. Like, there are a couple, late, like very late. Like, I want to take some shots on some guys. We just heard J.K. Dobbins wants to come back to Denver. Maybe he does. Or if not, he could be a number 2 somewhere. So yeah, I'll take some shots on those guys. But I want, like I said, 3 guys I feel pretty confident in. Because otherwise I just worry about having enough firepower at the position. Okay, I got that in here. 0 RB is dead. Yeah, I mean, it's harder and harder. I mean, now with the prices higher, I could see, some of it, but just more value has to materialize at the running back position. Right now, I don't see much value late, mid to late. Nice. Yeah, I didn't do any basketball this year. I've done some in the past, had some playoff runs, but never anything big. All right, coming up here, 1-3-2-1. So I'm a little weaker at receiver than I like at this position, at this point. But I also think receiver's kind of deep. I'm generally in these pre-draft ones going to be 3-6-8, 8-3. This could potentially be a build I'd consider 9 receivers just since I waited so long for my second one. But I think here, Denzel Boston's there. I'm going to take him. He's a rookie I like a lot. He's not there, so that's annoying. Maybe I can finish up, work on some other position. I will take Khalil Shakir. I think his role, regardless of him bringing in another receiver, probably won't change too much. Oof, not what I love in this range. I think Rico. I have him ranked higher. I think he gets a pretty significant role wherever he goes. Back-to-back 1,000-yard years, 2 different teams. Faded a little bit down the stretch, but just gives me more confidence at the running back position now. I'll probably wait on the position for a bit. Yeah, I was really hoping I'd get Boston, but we'll catch up. Maybe I will only go, depending on quarterback is a position that falls off the table. So got one really good one. If I get another really good one, maybe I won't go 2. I don't love that just because, we don't know buys. And as we saw this year, so many quarterbacks got injured. And also taking a Tyler Warren, maybe I could go only 2 tight ends. So another position with a ton of injuries. So we'll see. Receiver, though, is a position that I think is deeper. My ranks are, of course, a little different, but like Juwan Jennings at 130, I think is ridiculous. Debo at 127. Jaden Higgins, like 117. Like, these are guys who probably are at least number 2s on their team. One guy I'm lower on who just went is Wandale. He's a free agent. I don't know if he goes back to the Giants. And even if he does, he's assuredly behind Neighbors. And, even Slayton, A, it's a new offense, but B, Slayton had multiple injuries this year where he missed time. So I don't know if Wandale has the year that he has if those guys are healthy. And, presumably they're healthy next year. So, but I doubt he goes back to the Giants. Yeah, I wish I was more on him last year at his ADP. I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was like 4% Wandale. And clearly that was not the right call because he's the one Giants receiver who stayed healthy. and produce the most. But yeah, this new ADP, I mean, if he goes to where I have him ranked in the 120s, 130s, I can get behind it. But I will be interested to see where he ends up, because you also just run in this situation. Look, sometimes GMs and coaches, aren't on the same page. Look at the Bills. Brandon Beane signs Curtis Samuel to a big deal, and he never is on the field. Why? Because he's A, outplayed by Shakir in the slot, and B, he's just a limited player overall. So Wandale needs the right system to pan out. A couple of rookie running backs coming up. I'm super high in Emma Johnson. John Coleman and Emma Johnson, to me, after Love, are like the next two backs. Price is also in that mix. I think he's a little overranked here, but I'm okay taking him some because there's some real upside. I like these two backs. Don't think I'll go with one of them here, just given what my current team structure needs are. Just want to mention them. As you can see, I'm pretty high in Concepcion, 124. Don't know if I'll pull the trigger here. I think there will be plenty of time to get him throughout the draft process. Strange goes, considering that. Quarterback, starting to thin out. Don't have any other stacks outside of a later Daniel Jones. I think I'm just going to double tap receiver here. Debo, Jaden Higgins. Debo, I don't know if he'll be back in Washington, but he just produces. And Jaden Higgins, I think, really steps into the number 2 role for Houston next year. Let's see, back to the well. Oh, my dude, Colton was a sucker last year, was overvalued, got miserable. Yeah, no, and as I mentioned, that I touched on briefly with sophomore breakout. We traditionally talk about it with wide receiver, but we see it at every position. We see it at tight ends, we see it at running backs, quarterbacks, obviously. Drake May being the prime example this year. And I agree, like Golden absolutely could, especially if Romeo Doubs moves on, Wicks moves on, and they kind of just solidify a Watson, Golden, Reed wide receiver room. And running back, I think a lot of these running backs who, whether it's the Devin Neals or Taj Brooks or Rashard Smith, who didn't do much this year. That's what I mean. Like, they could end up being way better than like a JCM, who did get a crack at it this year. But next year, like Devin Neal could be the Saints' number 1 back. Yeah, maybe not, but Taj Brooks could fill the P. Ryan role, which, when Joe Burrow's healthy, that's a very valuable role. And Rashard Smith could take on a huge role, with Hunt and Pacheco free agents, even if they presumably bring in a back. Like, he could be the pass catching guy that we all hoped with last year. So just something to keep in mind where the ADPs are right now. But yeah, Golden is definitely on that list as well. You never know who to take. Yeah, you start making some choice, like projections. I really wanted, well, that's the thing. Like, I would not, like these free agents, like Wandale, I don't consider that as a stack, because my guess is it's unlikely he's back. And we can start talking about that a little bit. Still learning new rookies. You have a strong opinion about Coleman and his ADP. I think his ADP is fine. I think he's probably a 2nd round pick, 3rd round at worst in the NFL draft. So, to get him where he was going there, I think he's more than fine. Probably more of a 2-down, but in short yardage type guy, but that can be very valuable in fantasy. He's Quinn Judkins has had more upside for sure. So I don't want to give him that comp, but I think he's a better overall NFL comp might be shorter, but like a Brian Robinson Jr. can be effective if given work, can be effective. I guy you generally want to be pairing with somebody like Washington paired with, Eckler or previously Antonio Gibson. But, he gets 7 touchdowns next year. It'd be pretty good. All right. Okay, Baker fell both past his ADP and way past my ranks. And I will take Concepcion here. I'll take him above Jacoby Lane, Jalen McMillan, Tyreek. Yeah, I'm going to take him above that. Tyreek just don't know the injury. Jalen McMillan could be 4th on his team, and Jacoby Lane, I think Concepcion goes considerably higher than him in the draft. So that's my take. So am I still likely to add a 3rd quarterback? Yeah. And just to one thing I want to add to Eddie's point about Giants, and we'll talk about that. I'll probably have some articles about free agents expected back, free agents probably moving on, free agents that could go either way. Good example, just thinking about Tampa. And people say, oh, the Jalen McMillan stack. I don't care. Jalen McMillan's the 4th receiver and Concepcion's the number 2 receiver somewhere. I want the number 2 receiver. The stack isn't going to push that for me. But one is Kate Otten. He goes really late in these drafts, and he's a free agent, so he might not be back with Tampa. But I could very well see him back in Tampa. And even if he's not, I think he's a starter somewhere. I have him 187. His ADP is 203. That could be a late target for me. Maybe it ends up he goes somewhere else and I don't get the stack. But that's one I'd at least consider him to be relatively back. So, yeah, interesting that McMillan's fallen. That's probably the right call. I probably was too aggressive at the 143. So let me get back to chats. That you like Boston. He Schneider's number 2 receiver. EPR Tyler's before. I'm seeing a clunky Mike Evans. Watch return a punt with something to see though. Yeah. I don't think he was particularly used well at Washington. And also he was behind McMillan and that strong receiver, Washington receiver class 2 years ago. So he only got 2 years as a starter with Damon Williams at quarterback. So a bit of a downgrade from what we were seeing from Penix, and of course coaching downgrade, all that kind of stuff. I see that so one issue I have with him is I don't know if he's as NFL ready as I want, but he's a big physical receiver. I think he has enough vertical speed to be on the outside and to handle that. He does well enough for jump balls with me. He could be better there. T-Mac had the same concerns, but as we saw, he's fine. Not as good as T-Mac. He shouldn't go anywhere near that high, but I think he's going to be a late 1st round rookie, early 2nd at worst. And I think he's just the fact that he profiles as an X receiver is with red zone ability. What gives me a bump to him is I do see a legitimate red zone ability. Now, I agree he can be inconsistent, and like I said, wasn't utilized, I think, perfectly. But I think there's some upside there. Landing spot will be probably more crucial to him than some of these other guys. But at this point, we can't really do anything about that. All right, I'm going to get Singleton here. Haven't really gotten him. Big fan of his. I think he goes, 3rd, 4th round at worst. Quarterback is drying up. I will pull up Daniel Jones here to get my 3rd quarterback and one that I actually have a little stack with. So I'm now sitting at 3-5-6-1 through 15 rounds. Bring up the board while we get back to talking. Jordan Tyson, really big fan of Jordan Tyson. Arizona State quarterback play up and down, a little questionable. 2 years ago with Cam Skattebo, it was him and Jordan Tyson. These were the only offensive weapons that did anything on Arizona State. And unfortunately, at the end of the year, Tyson got injured. So for that Texas game and the Iowa State Big 12 championship game, it was all Cam Skattebo. No Jordan Tyson. But Tyson came back this year, had another good year, missed a little bit of time. But I'm really bullish on him. I think him or Carnell Tate are wide receiver 1 this year. Carnell Tate, to me, definitely benefits from the Ohio State lineage. And it's kind of like Mbuka, just never the number 1 on the team, but consistently produces. Ohio State receivers are just some of the best coached year in, year out. Doesn't matter their offense coordinator, just the system they have. Brian Hartline company, they've just produced so many NFL quality receivers at this point. So Tate has an edge there. Probably also had better quarterback play, and also has had Jeremiah Smith opposite him in last year, Smith and Mbuka. So he's had an easier time of it, but he's very talented. Jordan Tyson, I think, has the ability to be an elite wide receiver, and I'm really excited for him going forward. I want to see some of his times when he works out, but as long as they check boxes, I believe he'll be my wide receiver 1. Will Tyreek play this year? Yeah, I don't know. We really haven't heard anything. As far as I know, I know he's going late. If he is playing, he's playing off Miami. Maybe he ends up with a better landing spot, because if he's back with Miami and Quinn Ewers, or even if it's Malik Willis or something as quarterback, I'm not sure I'm loving Tyreek. I'd take some where he's going, but not going to be overboard. Tyreek is going to be an interesting one to watch for sure. 7 picks away. GM Steve came in to like, we'll watch this morning workout or morning working. And when does my subscription run out? Yes, we definitely will. Thank you for joining Steven WC. I don't know the exact time when it run out, but you'll definitely get a reminder things. Will James Conner play? That one I think is pretty likely from what we haven't heard a ton there. But he's definitely under contract. I think I haven't heard anything of him retiring. Maybe he could. He very well could. Excuse me. I will take him some at where he's currently going. But I'm not too worried about Conner. Also, because I think it behooves Arizona to keep him around. They're not going to spend a first round pick on Love. Ferguson. Let's see, ADP wise, I think I'm going to go Colby Parkinson, need wide receiver help. Both a rookie, Jeremy Bernard. I like him. I feel I have a lot of veterans. I can go with another rookie here. Bernard outplayed Ryan Williams quite a bit at Alabama. So I think it was Schneid is really high on Bernard. I'm not in his camp where Bernard's like wide receiver 2 or 3, whatever he has him. But I think Bernard's like a late second, early third round pick. Going to be a good NFL receiver. He's very refined, which I like. Yes, this is exactly it. Quarterback play very questionable. Arizona State these last couple of years. Some due to injury, some just not good. And he reminds me, not as big as Ted. And obviously T-Mac went to Arizona, but similar situation, just some of the most horrendous quarterback play you will see. I know for sure he can adjust to a bad ball. Yeah, I love the way he tracks balls. I think he's got the athletic profile, the route running. Just his quarterback play at times was just god awful. Gotcha. Yeah, you still should get an email, Stephen, but I'll check with Meg for sure. What Washington player will suck next year? You can't say all of them. So yeah, this is the interesting thing. As we're talking about free agents and draft and all this, and Washington, they have an early first round pick, but no second rounder that went to Laramie Tunsil, or part of that trade. So we know where the quarterback is. I think Mariota moves on as the backup, but Terry McLaurin's back. He signed a long-term deal. Debo's a free agent. No idea what the rest of the wide receiver room will look like. Tight end, Ertz probably retiring. I don't think Ben Sinnott is going to, just jump in as the tight end one. Maybe they just go by tight end committee and just hope that can work, and maybe it does work. But wouldn't be surprised if they look at free agents. Running back, same thing, as I mentioned before. So, if Ben Sinnott gets a crack at tight end one, I'll say he's the Washington player who sucks. I just don't see it from him in 2 years so far. He's had some opportunities when Ertz missed time 2 years ago. Ertz left 2 games early. Sinnott would have a catch in those games, 2 catches, but wasn't doing anything dynamic. And of course, Ertz missed a couple games at the end this year. Sinnott really didn't do anything. So, they like John Bates as a blocker, but that's what he is. Running back, I think is very questionable. To me, Chris Rodriguez played the bet. Like JCM would have some of the most explosive runs. We saw it in that Dallas game, saw it in the Chargers game, a couple other times throughout the year, but he also had some games where he just totally disappeared. I just don't foresee him being a feature back. Maybe he's a number 2, maybe a committee, but I don't think he's a feature back. So that would be another concern if they roll him out as we're just going with these 2 guys. This comes to a very interesting range. Kyle Williams, Cooper Kupp, Christian Kirk, Jack Besh. All could be number 2s, maybe number 3s. Kirk probably moving on. Keon Coleman. Keenan Allen, big question if he retires or not. Emmanuel Wilson is an interesting number 2 back. I don't think the Packers and, the Marshawn Lloyd, I think that ship has sailed. I think Wilson has done considerable enough to be the number 2 back on the Packers. I think he's well worth taking in this range. I might consider him here. I want to go receiver first. Ooh. The emergence of Booty. Actually, I'm going to go Kate Otten first. If it's stacked, it's stacked. If not, I think that's great value. I'm going to go Besh. Second round receiver. Should get a new lease on life with the Raiders. They're taking the quarterback in the first round, so it's not like they're going to take Tyson or one of these other receivers. I could see them probably bringing in a veteran, but kind of just going with Tucker and Besh and Thornton as top 3 receivers, maybe mixing in a vet. Because Bowers is still going to be like the focal point. So Besh is a 19th round pick. I think he's worth some shares. So see what I do with this last pick. Probably will go running back. I like having 6 running backs, just with some uncertainty here of Scadaboo coming back from the injury. Rico, not sure is a landing spot. Singleton. But I would consider a 9th receiver in this type of build. Ertz Rodriguez. I'm guessing Ertz retires. It's kind of similar to Eckler. If he comes back, right now he is absolutely free. You could take him in the 20th round. You want to see a new running back on Washington, Rico? Yeah, I would. I think if, Washington 2 years ago, they had a lot of things going for them in that run that they had. One, they just won these late 1-score games late and easy schedule and all that. They were extremely healthy. Obviously, were not healthy last year, but Robinson Eckler was a pretty good solid combo. Last year, they traded away Robinson, and I think at the time it made sense. Like JCM Rodriguez could roughly do that, and you'd have Eckler back. Once Eckler went down, the whole running back room just was, they didn't have much. And then, Jaden's not playing as well, and then he keeps getting various injuries. Everyone else is going down. It was just a mess. So I would love to see them bring in a more solidified running back situation. Whether I don't expect a big thing like a Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, or even Etienne, but or Rico, Javonte, if the Cowboys don't re-sign him, even like a Rashard White, I think is an upgrade, and he could fill like the Eckler type role. Taking Besh over a Pro Bowl quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. I mean, Pro Bowl quarterback. Shedeur Sanders. I had my 3 quarterbacks ball. Otherwise, you got to take the Pro Bowl quarterback. Should Washington try to get Breece? Yeah. I don't know. To me, it's more important to get another receiver. Now, maybe if they think they'll take like a Tyson or Tate at 7, and spend up at running back on free agency, because that's actually cheaper than, say, trying to spend for Wandale is going to get 15 plus million a year. Breece is not going to get that. So from a financial standpoint, free agent running back, highly drafted receiver could make some more sense. So I wouldn't hate Breece at all. I think that'd be a nice pickup. I wonder. Jets have said they want to keep him because they didn't trade him. I don't know. If I'm Breece, I'm packing my bags because that seems like a mess. But I also think Breece will have a big market. My guess is Kenneth Walker is franchised. I wouldn't be surprised if ETN is re-signed or franchised. I just don't know how much Liam Cohen loves to what do I do with this last pick? Go check my ranks. I like Brashard Smith. I think that is where I will go. Chris Rodriguez, I think, is fine. Rookies like Washington Jr. Randall, but you go Brashard Smith. I think he very well could be passing back next year. And I think my receiver room ended up being okay. Higgins, Diggs, Shakir, Debo, Jaden Higgins, Concepcion, Bernard, Besh. So I went with this, to me, what will be my standard 3-6-8-3 in the pre-draft. May, Baker, Daniel Jones, Bijan, Henry, Scatterboo, Rico, Singleton, Rashard Smith, T, I just read the receivers, don't need to read them again. Tyler Warren, Colby Parkinson, and Kate Otten. So took one early and waited on 2, but could easily have 3 starting tight ends. Let's look at the rest of the group. Actually, I'll do it from here. FK. He went 3-6-8-3. Also, Lamar, Purdy, Stroud. So 3 known starting quarterbacks. That's always nice. JT, Jacobs, then Warren, Claiborne, Kendry Miller, Jalen Wright. So kind of like 2 anchors. A guy like Warren, who should be at least, a significant part, and then 3 late. Nico, Sutton, Evans. I presume Evans is going to be back. Ricky, Juwan, double stacking with Purdy. That's really nice. Tank Dell. I'm considerably lower on Tank Dell. I think his ADP is going to keep falling. That's at least my thought on it. Like, I think Noel is a better pick than Dell, honestly. Not just at ADP. Like, I would take Noel at Dell's ADP. But getting double stacked there, and then Alec Manor, another guy who could probably, likely to be a starter. We'll see what they end up doing. But overall, really like that receiver room. I probably won't have much Tank Dell, just coming back from another horrific injury, and 2, young guys in there above him, I think. Kittle, Andrews, Schultz. So Kittle probably not going to be ready to start the year, but you got Andrews and Schultz. I like that a lot, and a lot of stacking there. So as much as it isn't always easy to stack, FK showed I will stack, and I have a pretty damn good team. Young Mula, 3782, Jaden Shuck, he got the Pro Bowl guy, Shador, and to be fair, I mean, at this point, Shador has a fair chance to be the starter next year. No, not a guarantee, but not bad for your third quarterback. Achane, Hampton, Jadarian Price, Evan Johnson. I like the, not young but very talented guys in Achane and Hampton. Then hitting up 2 rookies. Tucker, I really like Sean Tucker. I think Rashard White's moving on. I think Tucker is going to be the goal line guy. Dylan Sampson, probably number 2 in Cleveland. Jonathan Brooks, another guy coming off multiple injuries. If Rico moves on, Jonathan Brooks, it's probably because they trust Jonathan Brooks. If not, if they re-sign Rico, I would worry about Jonathan Brooks. But J-Mo, Devonta Smith, Terry McLaurin, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden, as he mentioned, and then Isaiah Bond, Kyle Williams. So a lot of young upside receivers, Devontae Walker. Bond could be number 2 in Cleveland, Kyle Williams, probably at best number 3. But third round pick, definitely showed some explosive upside. And Walker, same thing, came on definitely more second year. Fannin and Juwan Johnson. So yeah, some stacking here. I like the tight end combo. Fannin got him 10 picks past ADP, which is nice. And then Juwan Johnson, has one of the worst ADPs. It started in the 180s, already at 172. Taking him 152, I think is very fair. I think you should probably go, 130s, 140s. So you can gain some value there. We got Mike 3683, Dak Young taking the JJ McCarthy shot, Brees Hall, Judkins, Kyle Monangai, Tank, Keaton Mitchell, Devin Neal, like I mentioned, this is a guy who could end up being the Saints starter. Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson, Zay Flowers, DJ Moore, Xavier Worthy, Pat Bryant, Ryan Flournoy. Nice little balance of upside receiver plays. Worthy, who I think it's, last year he went too high. I think probably going too low. Particularly if Kelsey retires or Rice is in more trouble. Just a lot of ways where Worthy could really step up in year 3, particularly if Kelsey doesn't injure him, on the second play of the game or second play of the season. I like that. And then we got, that's King QC. Eddie first. Eddie 3494. Definitely more different build. Dart Mendoza. So 2 guys you feel comfortable starting. Ty Simpson, probably a first round pick. I don't know if he'll be a day 1 starter, but maybe kind of like a Tyler Shuck, who, as we saw with the BBM winner, Tyler Shuck didn't play until the second half of the year, and you can still win the BBM with that. So maybe you get that sort of situation. I think a lot depends on who ends up drafting them. James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Ramondre Stevenson, Ray Davis. 3 running backs you feel really good about, and then Ray Davis. So you got the Buffalo room. If James Cook goes down, Ray Davis is going to get the bulk of the workload. Neighbors, Lemon, Parker Washington, Coker, Kayshawn, Jerry Jeudy, Trey Tucker, Mims, Omar Cooper Jr. I like Omar Cooper Jr. I think he's being slept on right now. I think people watch more Indiana with Mendoza. I think I love Surratt, but I like Cooper Jr. a lot as well. Loveland, Sadiq, Henry, Hawkinson. Yeah, I worried a little bit about the running back room, and with taking such an early pick on Loveland. Did you need the 4th tight end? I think I probably would tack on at least one more running back. Good team. If the running backs stay healthy, it's very much going to be in play. But you kind of need that running back help. King QC 3782, Herbert, Ward, Penix. Penix is the one, we don't kind of know what his situation is next year. Etienne Tootin, so saying I will have the Jacksonville running back one way or another, and then maybe you work out in a situation Etienne goes somewhere else and get both. Monty, Algier, really like the Algier, Tyron Tracy. I like that because while I think Scatterboo will be well ahead of him, I think Tracy, Giants are not apt to add anyone. Rashard White, I think probably lands on his feet pretty well. And like I mentioned, Emmanuel Wilson. So I like that the depth of the running back room, kind of like anchor running back, they build. The guys who are likely to land in good situations. If Monty's back to where he's at, he's fine at that pick. If he gets straight somewhere, it could even be way better. London, McConkey, Jalen Waddle, QJ, Hunter. Travis Hunter is one. I'm having a lower ADP right now. I think he should be playing it more as a receiver. I don't know if that's what they'll end up doing, so I'm a little worried. Chris Bell, DK, Slayton. So nice little balance of young upside pieces and, just pretty good wide receiver room. And then, if you spend the price for McBride, I do like only going 2 tight ends. And Gunnar Helm, I think Chig probably moves on, and that is probably a good spot for Helm. I'm going to do big board next. Let me catch up in chat. Who do you see as Arizona quarterback for fantasy purposes? Boy, I don't know. I think until we get a coach, I think it's tough to predict the quarterback. Obviously, the original thing was they're going to move on from Kyler, but then they get rid of Gannon and Petzig. Maybe they keep Kyler and then trade Brissett. I don't think they'll keep both, because if you keep both, you have Arizona fans just saying go to Brissett, Jacoby Brissett. But I think they probably move on from Kyler, but I think we need to see the coach before we can really make a decision on that. FK with the best 17th round pick out there. I'm a bit lower in Dell 2 and they only have him. I do get that with Stroud. My worry is just where you're taking them. Like, I think I'm ranked in, roughly where you got Noel, like 220, and I'll take him some if he starts falling there. To me, my guess is he ends up falling, because even if they move on from Kirk, and if they move on from Hutchinson, I just feel like at best he's competing for that third spot, and even then he's competing with the guy who they used the 78th overall pick on, 79th overall pick, whatever Noel went, and not coming off major injuries, but I get some upside. I just wish those ADPs were, Noel maybe not 160, but like Noel in the 170s, 180s, and then Dell 220. How does if we get the news he's healthy? Well, I think if Houston commits to him, I think he'll rise pretty well. I mean, around pick 100, but maybe around where Woody Marks goes, and they both go in that area. Kind of similar, a couple rounds later than what we saw with the Vikings last year, where Mason and Jones went roughly back to back. Would be my guess. Because, if the Texans say they're going to commit to him and he's healthy, I think we should kind of believe that. But yeah. 2026 is our time to shine. I do really think he can be wide receiver too. He's talking about 17th round pick. Will you take any Deshaun Watson for Cleveland? Not right now, not until we hear he's going to start or have a chance to start. Because another situation, we need to find out the coach, and right now nobody wants to apparently coach Cleveland. Everyone's taking their name out of the running. And probably for good reason, because you have the Watson situation. I love that 3 teams advance in big board. I'm going to do a big board next. Double up on Watson Short combo. Yeah, if you're doing a 4 quarterback combo, I guess you can take both, but I don't know. I think Watson's just probably done. Multiple major injuries, all the baggage, drama, and he just hadn't played well the last couple times he's been out there. Mickey pity me, draft puppy after puppy, Iron Man all summer. Yeah, Mike, I think it was my second draft. I did draft Elegio Manor. I'm not totally bullish on him still. I think DK should go above him. But I'm guessing they get rid of Calvin Ridley. They'll probably bring in some other receiver. But at worst, Iron Man is probably the 3 there. So I think where he's going, I think it's fair for Iron Manor. Mixing returns, yeah. So I already answered that. Around pick 100 would be my guess. We get some clear indications. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Very excited. We got Schneid in here. What up, Steve? Hope you're doing well, Schneid. You're in stream with PPR Tyler the other night. Mentioned a little already. Definitely lockstep with you, some guys, and your general takes on receivers. So yeah, a lot we see the same. Excuse me. Definitely need to do a couple streams with you coming up soon. We got Charles in here, GM. Hope you're doing well. You can have baggage or you can be hurt, but you basically can hurt you both and keep a job. Yeah, the Watson stuff you draft for my boy. Next, you're gonna start trapping Zay. I mean, I'll show you. I'm gonna do a big board. I'll show you where I have Zay. I have him down a couple spots from his ADP, but roughly in that range. So let's draft a big board. I'm gonna count down from 10. Difference here, 3 to 12 advanced, then 1 to 10, 1 to 10. A little bigger final, but big 200K payday up top. So let me count down from 10, entering 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. So sorry for those who may be on pre-flow, waiting on 5. This should fill up quickly. Yeah, where do I have Zay? I have Zay ranked 49. So just slightly below his ADP. Put Watson above him, put 2 rookies, just because their touchdown upside I feel is higher. I debated about the Garrett Wilson, even debated Rashee Rice, though. Just don't know what to do with Rashee Rice with more legal issues, and of course Mahomes maybe not starting in the year. So, yeah, 48 spots too low for Zay. All right, I got the 4th spot. We got Cheese 24 Skull, the 1, FK at the 3, King of Kings. There we go. At the 6th spot, Schneid in there at 7. That on real time at 9. We got Legion at 10, King of QC at 11. Really big friends and family draft. That's not my burner, Stevo. 4, 5, 6. But yeah, so this should be a fun one. All right, I'll jump in and get 0 EV with all these stream drafts. Yeah. First big board of the year. This is the off season gonna be out in pool for sure. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one to watch, and there's a lot of these teams. Similar to Washington, I'll take some Lane, I'll take some Luke McCaffrey, but if they start signing guys, or there's like a clear indication they're going to draft Tate or Tyson in the first round, then yeah, I'm going to start, backing off that. So same with Titans. Like if we hear they're all in on a first round rookie, or they make a big signing, they sign Alec Pierce or something like that, then yeah, that's going to change my situation very quickly. I will go Jamar Chase. So it's definitely one thing on the big board. I want to be less high overextended for certain guys' ownership. Because we can tell ourselves stories like, Darius Slayton or, whoever is going to be a great late round ADP guy. Tillman was another one I was high on, but injuries, bad quarterback play, whatever. can change that real fast. So especially, and then not like pre-draft stuff last year. I was I was in on guys who ended up, they got multiple rookies, or just their situations just changed dramatically. Like I had a ton of Jerome Ford, and Browns go and draft 2 rookies. I was like, oh, they'll draft 1. They draft 2. And of course, the Browns then end up being just god awful. So that didn't help matters at all either. So yeah, those are the kind of things I want to be, guys that I know their role, I'll still be in on, but some of the more uncertain situations, I want to be a little bit more spread out ownership. It's literally the worst spot. Yeah, you're kind of in that range where, I like JT there. But I know you like receiver more in the first round. So, I get it though. Like, I worry more the back half of the first round. I mean, James Cook falls there. I think that's a great pick. Achane, I'm kind of higher on those guys. But it's like we're just relying on Neighbors coming back from injury, live unknown. London coming back from some injuries, and just total unknown quarterback. McBride, can he do it again? Last year everything went right for McBride. Like, he's an extremely talented tight end, but he had the offensive system. Drew Petzig, come from Stefanski tree, very prioritized tight end. But on top of that, you this change out of quarterback. No longer, not only if you say Brissett's a better quarterback, but Jacoby's not taking those quarterback runs. So, and then Connor and Benson go down. So they went from being a very run balanced team to extremely pass happy like that with those injuries. And then of course Harrison goes down. So not to say McBride wouldn't have been very good, but if not for those things, there's no way he's even coming close to what he would have produced. I'll go Saquon. I'm going to presume, that they hire a legitimate offense coordinator. Still haven't gotten anyone there yet, but I think Saquon, might not have the 2K yard year, but I think he can be very good. And he just has the upside. If their offense line is healthier, they have a real offense coordinator, easily could be RB1 again. $68 is definitely the least favorite so far. Yeah, I guess I worry more at the turn. I mean, you can mix it up more, but it's just a lot of situations, I guess, because so many coaches and quarterbacks there, like Cardinals, another one, with McBride, is like, which quarterback will they have? Which coach will they have? What do they do? Just not loving McBride at that ADP, to be honest. Could do the double stack. Probably won't. You know what? I will take Josh Allen. I probably won't have a massive share of Allen, but Allen every year, he'd be 1, 2, or 3. Hopefully they can upgrade a quarterback and receiver, but if not, he's shown that he can still be top 3 quarterback. 100% not run. He was more accurate. Yeah, no. So it's like Brissett was a better passer, so that helped McBride. But then he's not running. The couple dedicated quarterback runs, a couple scrambles that Murray would have are now having to be passing attempts because they're not going to be like regular runs either because there's no James Conner. Like, had James Conner been there, maybe they're much more balanced and just not near as many attempts. But it and then their defense, they were just always down, always in a negative game script. That's probably likely to happen again, would be my guess. But it was just like everything And then McBride stayed healthy. Also, and that was the other thing, every other top tight end, Kittle, Laporta, Bowers, Hawkinson, Kraft, and then tight ends who were like great. He gets injured. Kelsey, Mahomes gets hurt at the end of the year. Warren, Daniel Jones gets hurt at the end of the year. So like, it just created this wider and wider gap between McBride and everyone else because everyone else was injured or their quarterbacks got injured. And then their quarterback drop-offs because they didn't have a Jacoby Brissett on their team were just so much worse for some of those teams. So, yeah, not to say you can't do it again, but I think Shania talked about it the other day where taking a tight end that early is tough, and I agree. It's just you have to be so perfect, and it's just one of those things. Like Kelsey couldn't pay off first round ADP usually, and that's with Mahomes with just everything going right or appearing to be right on paper. Like, what are the chances McBride was off being worth it? So yeah, it's a tough thing. I obviously want some of them, but I just feel like there's a huge opportunity cost. So this is one thing I like about these kind of builds is I have a legit chance to have QB1, RB1, wide receiver 1. What would happen? Probably not. But there's at least a real chance, not just theoretical. Like these guys have the upside, the ability. But it does mean I'm thin with the run at running back. I will take DeAndre Swift. I think this is one situation for all the concerns we had about Ben Johnson and DeAndre Swift. It's clear he likes Swift, and Wamanagai is going to get worked in and be part of the mix. I think Swifty showed that he is going to be a significant portion of this Bears offense going forward, and this offense is going to just keep getting better and better. I mean, keep in mind, the first 6-7 weeks, this offense was very poor, very inconsistent. You'd have some, usually as a Doomsday, have some big time fantasy games, but really little else early on. Caleb definitely got better. Offensive line solidified. I think the Bears could be very fun next year for sure. So Scatterboo, Hendo going up and take a running back, looking receiver here. Like Tate, I like Watson. I mean, I know it's amazing he stayed as healthy as he did, but boy, was he good down the stretch. Ibuka, Dunze, I think fair in the mix. If FK didn't take Watson, I was definitely taking Watson. I'll take Tate. I want to be at least with the field with these rookie receivers, even high ones. Look at T-Mac, not a good offense, not good quarterback play, yet still easily paid off where it was. In chat, YouTube kept saying he'd be scrubbed. Oh, that's weird. I would give Jacoby another year quarterback. Should trade him to Houston. We can give him CJ in the third for Jacoby. Yeah, no, Jacoby, he played well, but I think he also, offensively they produced, but a lot of that was garbage time, down a couple scores. He was inconsistent. I don't know Jacoby is the one to lead your team to the playoffs. Could he fill in? Absolutely. There were multiple teams last year who would love to have had Jacoby filling in when their quarterback went down. But I think he is good for pass catchers for sure because he will sling it. Yeah, I know. might not be able to do that anymore. But like I said earlier, I can't imagine the Cardinals keep both. I think they could keep Kyler and then trade Jacoby. I think they could trade Kyler, keep Jacoby, and just say, we're going to find a quarterback in the future later. But I just can't see them keeping both Kyler and Jacoby. I think there'd be too much. Every time Kyler throws a pick, there's a question like, why are you not going to Jacoby? So that will be an interesting situation. But there's a lot of quarterback situations. Like I feel pretty good about Daniel Jones, but they might need to bring in a early stopgap or somebody to compete with Riley Leonard. Daniel Jones is not ready to go from the jump. Same with the Chiefs. Like Chiefs lost their first, not just Mahomes, but Gardner Minshew. I think they're going to bring in a vet. Probably Mahomes is ready to start the year, but just never know with those types of things. I would not be taking Kyle Pitts. His ADP is falling. I think it will continue to fall. Don't love its ADP range. I will go Mike Evans. So Chase, Tate, Evans. I think Evans is back in Tampa. Once that is 100% clear, I will be taking more of him. But there's a chance. I think there's a very thin chance he'd retire, which obviously would be very bad for this team. But I think most likely he's back in Tampa, and they're just going for it again. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if they just gave Godwin big money, obviously just drafting Buka. I wonder if they try and trade McMillan. I know he's young and cheap, but that gives him a lot of value. Let's make this pick. I will go Ricky P. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Injuries have not been kind to him so far. But we've seen when he's out there, they like him. Let's say Tucker Kraft. I started his ADP here. Obviously, hearing how he recovers from the injury will be huge. But we saw when he was healthy, he looked like tight end one, just on par with McBride. So that's one I definitely want a decent share of going forward. New OC is interesting. Wrinkle in Tampa. Yeah. I they obviously had to change OC last couple of years. Or 100% right with Canales and Liam Cohen. Last year didn't go over so well, but I think, and it's wild. So many teams still need offense coordinators and coaches. So a lot of information will be coming to us going forward. I'm just going to believe that Tampa just has too many weapons for the OC. Because, I know Josh Grizzard was kind of like hung out to dry, but let's keep in mind, like, the season started with Tristan Wirfs injured, Godwin injured, then Bucky goes down, Evans goes down, and Buka was playing through injury. Godwin, got another injury. McMillan injured in the preseason. I mean, but then Baker was playing through an injury the last 7 weeks or whatever. So they just, people talk about the 49ers injury luck. I mean, Buccaneers was right there with them. Wirfs being bad, and then they missed another offensive lineman for a time. So Worth being back, it could be huge for them. And then, of course, everyone else being, and Evans went out again with that concussion and collarbone at the Lions game. So yeah, that was just a mess. Speaking of tight ends, what are we doing with Hawkinson? He's still in his 20s, but looked dust last year. Still recovering past injuries or finished. He's almost free. Yeah, it's an interesting one because, like you said, he is so free right now. He's so cheap. The other tight ends in Minnesota, it's not like they have a young guy behind them. Big thing is quarterback play. I mean, that's the biggest issue. I think where he's going now, I will have a decent share in him. Because even if it is JJ McCarthy again, presumably it's a little better. Not a guarantee, but presumably it's a little better. And so I think he can pay off. But my bigger thing is, I don't know, he didn't look great, but honestly, that offense just looked terrible. And they were at their best with Carson Wentz. I did not think we'd be saying that in the year of 2025, right? So I am definitely a little worried. Darian Price, go quarterback now. I'll take Kincaid. It's a little high for me for Kincaid, but with Josh Allen, okay. Like I don't think I'd take Kincaid much there without Allen. But with Allen, I think it's fine. I'm very in on Bucky with Zach. Yeah. No, I like Zach Robinson. I guess what is interesting is Zach Robinson coming from McVay. Zach Robinson, they kind of had the focal wide receiver, and then everyone else would get tertiary work. With Tampa, though, you have so much wide receiver talent, so I just don't know what's going to happen there. But no, I like Bucky, and I also like Sean Tucker. I think they're going to, let Rashard White go. Sean Tucker is going to be the short yardage guy. Bucky's going to do everything else. Bucky will still have enough total touchdowns, but where Tucker's going, I think it's fine. I'm not like the biggest Sean Tucker stan, but I think he probably gets the short yardage work, goal line work. But yeah, no, Bucky. And he's fallen around this year. So Price is still there. You can do Shakir. I'll do Shakir. I'll double stack this. It's going to be thinner running back than I generally like, but that's kind of I wouldn't call it double anchor, but two running backs I'm confident in. Why are you doing that to me? FK sniping. That sounds like it. So FK went with the running back go to start. Lamar, then Watson, Brian Thomas, Boston, and Gadsden. Schneid at Herbert. He wanted Gadsden coming back. That makes sense. Yeah, I like Gadsden. That's the tight end this year, and this is the other thing. I mean, why obviously Kyle Pitts should fall, but tough thing for me to take Bride at late first, early second, or Bowers second or even early third is. Man, Warren, where I got him in the last draft, Loveland, a couple rounds later, Warren, Fannin, then this range of Kraft, Kincaid, Gadsden, Strange, Goddard, though we do need to see if he's back in Philly, but Ferg, Andrews, this is kind of where I have Jawan Johnson, right after this, Sadiq, Henry. Tight end strong in this range. It thins out later. I generally probably double tapping two guys in the 90-ish to 150 range. But yeah, tight end feels strong in that range, and that's probably where I'll mainly attack it. throughout this year. But we'll see some of these landing spots. Yeah, and we need to see where like Kyle Pitts ends up. Likely ends up Chig, a few other guys. So tight end, there's a lot of interesting free agents at both running back and tight end to me. Receiver, not really. I mean, I think Pickens is franchised. Pierce could be franchised, or maybe just back with the Colts. Wandale probably moves on, but I think his value is completely dependent on what kind of offense and situation he goes to. Other than that, like Debo, Evans, I think is likely back. Like most of them, I think are just going back, like Evans and guys like that. Debo could go back. Also could be fine pretty much anywhere. Juwan Jennings, I think, is back. Let's see here. I was hoping I'd get Purdy. All right, I will take Coleman. So I have more Emma Johnson so far, but I'll take Coleman there. And once I'm going to be relatively balanced for those guys. Jeff, yeah, I think I'm going to do one more after this. See Jennings make his way to Buffalo. Yeah, I think the tough thing for Buffalo is because they have a slot guy like Shakir, who they feel good about. Then Coleman should probably run more routes out of the slot also. They can only go for certain types of receivers. So like Wandale in Buffalo would be the most Buffalo thing ever, but just should not happen. They need, presumably Pickens and Evans are going back. Like they need like Pierce or Jennings for sure. Algier, I was hoping Algier would come back to me at 124. Oh, quarterback is taking a dip. I'll go Emma Johnson. I'll double rookie running back. Yeah, I was thinking Algier, Higgins, Baker, Jennings, but yeah, all got taken up. Yeah, Eric McAllister. I'm not sure. I mean, there's definitely rookies who can fill the outside role. So I'm sure Buffalo hopefully directionally starts going in that way. I mean, like, yes, you have these receivers like a Steph Diggs who can play in the slot, but he can also play outside. He leaves and they replace him with Curtis Samuel, who should only be in the slot and is not as good as Shakir. Heard he's doing a thing around it. I will do some baseball later, not today, but I will start doing a little baseball. Yeah, Buffalo doesn't add some sort of outside weapon for Josh Allen. It is absolutely criminal. This guy, I know not everyone's the biggest Josh Allen fan, but he is an elite quarterback. And Brandon Cooks gets cut from the Saints and easily is the team's number 2 receiver. That's just wild. That should not be happening. So yeah, with this build, I still will probably tack on 2 quarterbacks. So that's why I didn't mind not taking I would have taken Purdy earlier, but that's why I didn't mind not. Yeah, I would have taken Purdy there, but taking guys in the 8th, 9th, 10th round. So coming up, I like the Shaheed pick. he's a free agent. He can be a vertical receiver. Could see him in Buffalo. I think Seattle will try and work to keep him. But he could end up having a pretty decent market, even though he didn't have like this great run with Seattle outside of his return game. Receiver. You know what? I'm just going to take my guy Mendoza. I'm a believer. I want a second quarterback who I know starting. And with Cheese not having a quarterback, he easily could double tap here. So could get very thin after he goes. Yeah, probably should have taken Baker with over Coleman. Instructing at the same time as you. No, not all out war. Like I said, most times I'm going to be doing 1 o'clock streams. I'll be doing some night streams also because I know it's just easier to get guests and stuff like that. But I think starting tomorrow, I think I will be doing 1 o'clock streams most days. Right now, as you can tell, I am not a believer. Somebody will sign him. Don't know who. I do not feel confident about it. Take Hunter Henry here. Like I mentioned, he did double tap quarterback. So I'm glad I got Mendoza because it does start to really thin out. I'll still probably take a third quarterback, but because I have Allen, I'm more happy to risk it on like a McCarthy or Jacoby or even Shador. We'll start to hear if Rodgers retires, Cousins. I don't think Cousins will retire, but he's getting some work in the booth this last couple weeks. Maybe he decides it's just an easier gig. Mac Jones, I don't think gets traded. Tua will probably get a shot somewhere. Like I mentioned on the stream last week, I think Marcus Mariota is like the low-key, like late starter, that we're getting late. Is probably going to get a shot, a crack to start next year. Anthony Richardson might get traded somewhere. I don't think he will be starting in Indy, even if Daniel Jones isn't ready to go week 1. But yeah, Brandon Ayuk, I don't know. It's crazy. I know he had these big years, but I'm going to have to see it before I really invest. If that's the Bills plan, maybe I'll take some, but I will not enjoy it because I just think that could implode so quickly. Charbonnet is another one, just that late of an ACL tear. Tough to imagine he's back before mid-year. So I'm also presuming Kenneth Walker will be franchised or re-signed. Just kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. Had Charbonnet not gotten injured, totally could have been different. They could have just said, okay, we got another former second round back under a cheap contract for a year. We'll let Walker leave. But now I think they got to retain Walker, especially how he's helped carry them these last couple weeks. Cam Ward. I think he's, he played better down the stretch. He guy who had, just terrible coaching. Not that he had a ton of weapons to begin with, but Calvin Ridley kept getting hurt. Just wasn't good. I think it's likely to be quite better as the third quarterback, especially when I have Josh Allen and then back-to-back, number one overall picks. I don't mind that. To Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, it could. I can't imagine Penix is ready to start the year, and Stefanski might not be, okay with Penix. And, Stefanski, as many know, I'm not the biggest fan, but you have to imagine he went in knowing a relative plan of what they could do at quarterback. Now, and Kirk Cousins, he has a history. He was his quarterback coach and offense coordinator with the Vikings for a couple years before he got the Cleveland job. But it sounds like Cousins might be moving on, so we'll see. But I do think Stefanski didn't take that job without having some promises of what we could do at quarterback. I'll take Troy Franklin. I mean, I know Pat Bryant came on, but 65, 700 yards, 6 touchdowns, not too bad for a second-year guy. Should be good offense going forward. It's a 6th receiver. I think that's pretty good. So, yeah, Denver receivers. I talked about it a little in Discord. I think Sutton, his ADP is fine, but then you have Mims is going 20th round. I don't think that's right. Pat Bryant, Huhein's mentioned this, given the injury history, it's probably going to end up being lower in Pat Bryant. And I kind of feel that way too. I moved him down the ranks. I think Franklin is a better pick. Bryant will have a crack. Mims will have a crack, but they're young, under contract. I think they're just going to probably go with those 4 guys again. And why not? It worked. If they stay a little healthier, could be even better. But I think Franklin, and they're like a best ball team, right? Sutton has the best chance to consistently give you good scores, but outside of that, Franklin will have 6 weeks, Bryant 4, Mims 3, that's kind of how I feel like they are. But their ADPs, particularly Bryant falls, I think it's probably okay to target those guys. Chris Bell, probably going in 2nd round. He had I think it was early December ACL surgery. I think it was ACL surgery. I heard that it was clean, and everything, and should be ready for camp and all this kind of stuff. We'll see. That's why I'm a little lower on him. Tank Dell, as I mentioned before, lower on Calvin Ridley. I'm guessing gets cut, probably gets signed somewhere, but I wouldn't expect on Hawkinson, as mentioned before. Yeah, I will take some shares of, but yeah, it was ugly last year. Amazingly, he had more touchdowns than Jefferson, though, right? Jefferson only had 2, so we will see. Yeah, no, it can be a lot of sharp people in here, and then just talking it through. People, whether in chat or question. Kings Frank with a nice pick. I was hoping for Trey Tucker for my Mendoza stack. Yeah. We are going to shit. What's the exact range? Oh, I don't think I got him. Okay, thank God. I was worried I was going to get tanked though. No, I guess it wouldn't. It would be my ranks. So, I think he's like a third round rookie. Definitely going to be a big play guy. It's all the veterans I have. Tate, but like a lot of certainty. I feel like taking a shot on there. Didn't feel like reaching for a running back. And while Ridley technically stacks, I don't think he's going to be in Tennessee. So I will take Elegant Manor. Not my favorite guy, but this is right around the area. I think he's worth taking. 17th, 18th round. And like I mentioned before, I think they probably added in a receiver to replace Ridley, but whether that's a big time name and Manor's like more, on the bench, like as the third receiver. Yeah, I am just so ready for Manor to be a league winner. But no, he did enough as a rookie. I think DK is better. I would have rather DK, but it's all good. I think Trey Harris is another. I love that Schneid pick. And I know he has root as well. But I think Trey Harris probably should be going like 15th round. Like, Keenan Allen, I'm imagining, is moving on. QJ had a good year, but he also showed a lot of QJ things. Drop balls, some bad routes that led to some turnovers. I don't know. Mike McDaniel might not, tolerate that as much, and could see like Trey Harris, who I think is a little bit more of a technician. Had some of his own issues at Ole Miss, but I think can be more of a technician, and could end up being led Trey Harris than QJ. So we will definitely do another draft after this. I thank everyone for joining. I think all the comments, questions. Like I said, I'm going to be doing these pretty much every day. Some days, tomorrow, look at like a division and project depth charts as we go through drafts. I can do that now, obviously, but just there's going to be so much to talk about with more and more coaching signings, not just the head coaches, but the offense coordinators come into clear picture. Then when we start to get some information on retirements and all that. So this one, I kind of have it at this rank. I'm going to move it up. David Njoku, probably looking to be a starter somewhere, right? At least that's my thought. I think Njoku, Freiermuth are very fair late round guys. Ingram, not as much Gunnar Helm. If I didn't get the Iron Manor stack, I would have done that. But Njoku, I know he got injured, but I think still relatively young because he entered the league so young and athletic, a lot of upside. So I think he'll get a pretty fair shot somewhere to start. Next year could be like Washington, or maybe he, follows Stefanski, goes to Atlanta to replace Kyle Pitts. So in which case, late 18th round, Njoku feels good. Somebody, after I did my first round of rankings, that I said, probably going to be moving him up. Just can't find a good place for him right now. take Emmanuel Wilson. As I said, I think he's a clear RB2. Don't see Green Bay really adding anything there. I think he did more than enough to show that he's a good RB2. And so I'm down to one more pick, probably going to running back, especially with a lot of uncertainty at the position. Yeah, exactly what I'm thinking. But then where does Goddard go? But no, I think Miami is going to be looking tight end for sure. Washington probably looking tight end. Goddard, I'd take Goddard. Washington if he doesn't go back to Philly. Yeah, I think Njoku to Atlanta just makes sense. I thought about that. I did my rankings, and it's like, if I had to pick a spot for Njoku, I think that makes the most sense. Most likely to repeat Michael Wilson with different tools around him. Wandale with new coaches and neighbors returning. Well, see, I guess my thing in here is I don't think Wandale's going back to the Giants. That I'd be shocked. So I'd say Michael Wilson, because I think even with Marv back, I think Wilson's a clear number 2. Like if I'm the Cardinals, they should go. We talked about in Discord a little bit today. They should just go offensive line. Not going to get a quarterback at the 3rd spot. You're not taking a running back that. You're not taking Love that early. They don't need defense. They've taken so much defense lately. Could take receiver, but I think you just took Marv. Wilson really showed up. So I think Wilson has a better chance to repeat, particularly if Marv gets hurt again or McBride gets hurt, etc. Trey Harris is that approved. Yeah. No, I'm a big Trey Harris fan. I think likely he's going to be a Commander easily. Yeah, I could absolutely see that. I think Washington, like I said before, I don't think they're sticking with Ben Sinnott. I know Adam Peters drafted him in the 2nd round, but he's had 2 years and really didn't do much to force his way. Like they would start using him a little bit more for Ertz, but he'd do nothing, like just absolutely nothing. And yet we'd still see Ertz like just absolute shreds like the Broncos. Going running back here. You know what? I will take Caleb Johnson. One of my biggest misses from last year, but probably Gainwell's is gone. Caleb has a chance, 3rd round pick. New offense, new system, we'll have to see. But Jalen Warren, I think Warren is, I know some people are really big Warren stans. That's not me. But I don't care how big of a stan you are. He's just not going to be an every down back. He's not going to go get, 250 carries and, 300 carries and just a ton of passing work. I think what we saw last year's around near his ceiling, which good fantasy value. But I think he's paired with a back one way or another. All right, let's run through the teams real quick. My team, Allen, and then the back-to-back number 1 overall picks in Mendoza, Cam Ward, Saquon, Swift, a couple rookies here in Coleman and Emmett Johnson. I think they're 2nd, 3rd round picks at worst. Emmanuel Wilson, Caleb Johnson to round it out. Receivers, Chase, Tate, Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall, Leo Shakir, Troy Franklin, Zach Branch, Elgaio Manor. So kind of a balance of some guys, a lot of certainty. Hopefully Mike Evans is back. And then some young upside plays. Dalton Kincaid, Hunter Henry, David Njoku. So really like the value I got at tight end. FK, Lamar, Baker, JJ McCarthy, Gibbs, Henry, Josh Jacobs, James Conner. Strong running back room, particularly if Conner comes back as the one, and then Mitchell backing up Henry. Ray Davis, just one of the best handcuff options out there, though probably doesn't have a role unless Cook goes down. Weighted at receiver, but I like what he ends up here with Watson, Brian Thomas, just big upside plays. Denzel Boston, Jordan Addison, Jordan Jennings. Back with San Francisco, I think that's a steal. And as Schneid said, there are some places he could go where he's actually even more valued, like Buffalo. Flournoy, I think clearly probably has a number 3 role. Tez Johnson could be tough to see the field, but find the late pick. I mean, and if they do move on from somebody else, he might move up the ranks. Gadsden, Mark Andrews, Juwan Johnson, that's a good tight end room. And again, not huge investment there. So Kings 2693, Dak, Bryce Young. So just sticking with 2 quarterbacks. We kind of know we're going to start. Jeremiah Love, Ramondre, Jalen Warren. So 3 backs that feel pretty good. I actually kind of like this room because David Montgomery, worst case scenario, is back with the Lions. I feel like if not, he's like traded or cut, going somewhere else. Mason, I think his role is going to be similar, and if the Vikings could be a better offense this year, that upside is better. Like his issue was more the team was awful. Jaden Blue, I don't know if Dallas wide open again this year. I'm less bullish on him, but I get it as a late round dart, just similar to like a Caleb Johnson. And then of course team stack, so I get that up as well. CeeDee Lamb, T-Mac, Lemon, really like that. Michael Pittman, Coker, stack. DK, that's who I was hoping for. Trey Tucker, yeah, he kept stealing my receivers from my stacks. Malik Washington and KLS. Another reason why Keenan Allen is probably gone is Chargers are just so deep at receiver. And then Loveland, Kittle, Hawkinson, as we talked about. I mean, Hawkinson going this late, it's just wild to me. Loveland up top, Kittle. Oh boy, that room is going to be good when Kittle comes back. And if the Vikings have any semblance of an improved offense. Then we got Schneid's team, 3683, Herbert, Goff, Malik Willis. Willis, he's a free agent, most likely guy to end up as a starting role somewhere, Pittsburgh, whether Atlanta, wherever. Dolphins, I think a lot of people are tying him to the Dolphins with the Jeff Hadley thing. We'll see. Bucky Irving, Kyren Williams, really like that 1-2 running back combo. Tootin, at worst, he's the number 2 back in Jacksonville. Could end up the starter if Etienne moves on. Jadarian Price, Kaytron Allen, a couple of rookies that are fun, and then Jonathan Brooks. Late, talked about him earlier. Particularly if Rico, if they bring back Rico, I worry about Brooks. If they don't, I think it's, Hubbard and Brooks. ASB, Justin Jefferson, Dunze, Waddle, Jalen McMillan, Trey Harris, Chris Brazo, and Skylar Bell. I know he signed Bell. I like Bell too. Bell is a super late round guy. It's fun. Played at UConn, but he just produced. And Chris Brazo, latest Tennessee receiver, but kind of like Thornton, long, physical, speed receiver. Likely Barner, Helm. Again, waiting on tight end. Don't know where likely will be yet, but probably an upgrade. Because there'll probably be a tight end 1 somewhere. Barner, I think, is a tremendous value. Didn't realize he went that late. You have 20 picks past ADP. That is wild. And then Helm, I think it's a tremendous pick because I think Chig is probably moving on somewhere. You got that in here. 3683, Stafford, Darnold, Brissett, CMC, Javonte, Pollard, Gainwell, Charbonnet, Jordan James. They got the handcuff with McCaffrey. I think Javonte is back with Dallas. My best guess. Pollard, I wonder what they'll do. I would think they keep him. Kenneth Gainwell, he showed a lot last year. Hopefully he gets a good landing spot. He definitely earned it. Zach Charbonnet, as I mentioned before, I'm a little lower on him. He got him 10 picks past ADP. I do worry about how soon he can come back. We know he's a talented back, but it's part of a good offense. So even if you're only looking at him for the second half of the year, it could still be worth it just because it's part of such a good offense. Pickens, Adams, Zay Flowers, Alec Pierce, DJ Moore, Donnie Mitchell. I like that. Donnie Mitchell did show a little something at the end. I don't know who the Jets quarterback is going to be. That is a question mark. But upside playing the 150s, and when you have these other guys to carry the team, starting at Pickens, Adams, then Flowers, Pierce, DJ Moore. That's a good top 5. And then, some upside plays here. Kirk is another one. I don't think he's going to be back with Houston, but he could end up as a slot receiver somewhere. Doing pretty well. Goddard, whether he's back or not, I think he's fine there. Colby Parkinson, really good there. Mason Taylor, flashed a little as a rookie. It's just, boy, that Jets team is not good. Legion, 273. Hurts, Burrow. So, taking advantage of these falling prices. I mean, this is a guy, Hurts was going 45 50 last year. Burrow, early 50s to 70, got him at 82 and 87. I like getting that value because we know the upside of both is so high. Walker, QJ, J.K. Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Singleton, Braylon Allen. I like this a lot because I think Braylon Allen, if Hall moves on, Jets are probably going to just let Allen have a crack at it. Brian Robinson, I mentioned him in Discord earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not back with San Francisco, but he could be pairing somewhere next year as a number 2 back with more opportunity, maybe even with the Jets. Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Diggs, Debo, Surratt, Travis Hunter, Cooper, and Yoshivas. Got the Indiana pair of receivers. I mean, Hunter is just such a wild card. I want to have a piece of them for sure, but I'd love to see his ADP fall a little bit. Just right now, I just don't know how much Jacksonville is going to use him as a receiver. McBride, and then 2 late round tight ends. And, Gesicki, I know he was banged up, missed so much time, and then, had to deal with, some non-Burrow play. But, he flashed enough. I don't know if Fant's going to be back. Kate Otten, whether Tampa or somewhere else, probably landing as a starter. So it's a good, solid tight end room. King QC, 3593. Jaden, Jordan Love, and then, we'll see where Tua ends up. But, worst case scenario, you have Jaden and Jordan Love. That's pretty good if they can stay healthy. Cook, Genty, Brees Hall. Ideally, he gets a better landing spot than the Jets. Blake Corum, we saw his development this year. Trey Benson. Maybe Connor moves on. Maybe Connor retires. I don't see Arizona making a big RB move. So worst Benson's probably the number 2 there, or at least in the consideration. Ladd McConkey, this is something I will be talking about more. I think Mike McDaniel is fantastic for Ladd McConkey. So I think he was swing and a miss last year. It was too spread out. I think next year he could be the focal point of that passing offense. So I'm kind of excited for him. Not to say that I want to take him, 15th overall like we were doing last year, 17th overall, but I think he easily could end up being worth that. Terry McLaurin, Jacoby Myers, Matthew Golden, Casey Concepcion, Brandon Ayuk. I'm less high, but at least you got him 20 spots past ADP. Jeremy Bernard, Chris Bell, Darnell Mooney. So a lot of depth here can help, with some of these more unknown situations. Then Kraft, Kelsey, Freiermuth. It really sounds like Kelsey could be back, which I kind of see, like with Mahomes getting injured, then missing the playoffs, and not wanting to leave like that. I can see it. So, if Kelsey's back and Kraft is healthy, that tight end room is incredible. and Freiermuth gives you some insurance just in case Kelsey retires and/or Kraft takes some time getting back. So, yeah, I like how that build turned out. So, all right, I will do one more. Another big board. So, enter it in 10 seconds and it'll catch up on chat. So, entering in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Yeah, no, and if like McCarthy, if they bring Aaron Rodgers back, yeah, I think Gainwell comes back, and then me taking Caleb Johnson could be in more trouble with that situation. But I agree. I think Aaron Rodgers like Gainwell a lot, and I think they realize like Gainwell and Warren, they do, which is so interesting. They're two backs who are not like a 3-down back profile. But they just were like, they're both of the same thing. They can pass block, and catch the ball out of the backfield. They can run decent. And we'll just combine these two. It was kind of weird to just kind of rely on the exact same back for that profile, but it worked. I mean, it generally worked. But I agree. Gainwell probably back to Pittsburgh in that. It's Taj Brooks would like to have a word about most drafted night player that missed out. Yeah, well, I mean, Taj Brooks was a late round pick. Caleb, I was taken in the 7th, 8th, 9th round. Ez was not only a bigger in stack since I didn't get McMillan. Probably could have just left. Yeah. I can't remember what your tight ends. I mean, even though Otten's a free agent, I would probably still bet on Otten. All right, let's see what I got here. I got the 3rd spot, Legion in the 4th. And I recognize a lot of names, but that's it. So sorry if anyone tried to jump in and missed out. But Bucks main wide receivers are still pretty old. No, I mean, that's fair. I mean, look, has played more this year than I ever thought he would. I'll appreciate that, FK. Always happy to talk ball. And like I said, I want to go over different teams, different situations as we really get through these next couple weeks. Of course, we'll be getting more information as this whole thing takes off next season. So I love JT, but okay, I'll take Gibbs here. I was going to say I'll take Gibbs or Chase just from the idea that in top 3 picks, you're generally just getting these guys with Puka in the mix. Where JT, I think you'll easily get more from the 5 through 9 range. But I will happily take Gibbs. So, take a drink. Yeah. What I saw earlier, Cardinals are narrowing their quarterback or their coaching situation. Browns, no, he seems to want the job. And then we still have the Raiders and Bills. So thankfully, Phillip Rivers is not going to be the Bills head coach. I think that would have just been ridiculous. I mean, he was hired as a quarterback coach, hell, even an offense coordinator or some other offensive assistant. Totally understand. But no way he have been head coach. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets into the NFL coaching ranks pretty soon, just ideally starting as a quarterback coach. Yeah, the Browns' job is turning the last kid pick for kickball. Yeah. Now, I saw that Nate, a Rams passing game coordinator, he's getting an interview, I think, now, but excuse me. Definitely doesn't sound, like a popular spot, which, yeah, makes sense. Either the Deshaun Watson situation, you have the Shador Sanders situation. Here, top offensive players. QJ coming off injury, Bannon, etc. So you have a great defense, but if you pick the wrong guy, you can't retain Jim Schwartz, that defense could go by the wayside pretty quick. Yeah, you'd think if he gets a shot there, you think he'd take the Buffalo job. Get up these drinks per hour if you want to stream every day now. Yeah, build back up that stamina to be burning out that throat too quick. Yeah, I'm going to have to work on this. And I will have shows with guests, so, but I want to. So I really like Jeremiah Love. I think he's a great prospect. I do not think he should be going 22 overall. He'll be no landing spot. As we saw with Genty, I think Genty is a better prospect than Love, but Genty got a bad landing spot. Browns are at least trying. Titans going. Salah, I feel, is such a cop-out choice. Just push it down the line since they weren't getting the attention from the top candidates. Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing I say with Salah, I think what we're really seeing is just, and this used to be Washington, hopefully still isn't Washington, but just how bad that franchise is, the Jets. Sam Darnold is your Super Bowl quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, much better in Pittsburgh than the Jets. Just everything. It was just such a mess. Make this pick. I think I'll go Higgins again. Look, I know Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin people take shots at, but they got Justin Fields to be a 4-2 quarterback. Jets and Bears couldn't do that. So I think coaching does matter, but team atmosphere matters. Pittsburgh had a winning culture. Jets do not. Salah might do well, in Tennessee. Tennessee, who knows about their culture as well, but I don't mind him getting a second run at coach. I think he's clearly a great coordinator. Did so much with so little this year in San Francisco, and maybe it turns around. The tough thing is, I was surprised Tennessee not going with an offensive mind. We had so much invested in Cam Ward, but we'll see. Really like Love's teammate Price, kid's skill set. Yeah, no, I agree. I think both those running backs are really good. Price is, I think, a little high ADP just because his draft stock is a little bit more unknown. But, he could end up being RB2 in the draft. I don't think so. I think it's probably Coleman or Johnson. But Price is in that mix. Eddie, this is another big board. So, yeah, because the word out of the Raiders is they want an offensive guy to pair with, drafting Mendoza. So I was surprised Titans kind of just went down for Salah so early. A retread. It was so interesting that Salah and Stefanski got jobs so quickly, considering Harbaugh you get. And if Tomlin had gone, wanted to be in the coaching mix, you'd get, and even Bill's coach, you'd understand. They've a proven winning track record. But Stefanski and Salah did not, but they got jobs pretty quickly. And yeah. I thought we were friends. Sorry about that, Paul. Do you think the Cardinals are basically stuck with Kyler due to that contract? I don't think stuck. I think there's, as we saw with the Russell Wilson thing, as we saw with Jared Goff, there's always a way. I'd have to look at the specifics. From what I recall, the Tua contract is way worse than the Kyler contract. I think Kyler actually, you could potentially trade for, not that you'd give up anything significant, but let's just say the Steelers could be like, we'll give up a 6th-round pick and, get Kyler instead of having him cut and all that. I'd have to look at the exact specifics of it. So I don't think they're completely stuck with it. And also Arizona isn't in the same cap hell as, like, say, the Dolphins are. Like, Dolphins have such a little maneuvering room. That's going to make it that much harder. I'd have to fully double check on Arizona's status, but I don't think they're in that bad of a situation. Let me just look. It brought up over the cap. Cardinals have an effective cap space of about 19 million for 2026. Dolphins have an effective cap space of negative 37 million. So that is a gap. Don't want to do Lamar. I will do Jordan Tyson in this one. Balanced 0-2-2, 0. Legion took my Scatterboo. There you go. So let me look at Kyler's contract, see if I can get a general understanding of what we're looking at here. So yeah, like if you cut or trade, if they trade Kyler, they would get so much cap savings. And even cutting him isn't that negative. It would be a slight negative dead cap hit. Relative big, but not nearly as bad as like the Russ Wilson and some of these others. Swifty's still there. Watson, give me a second. I think I'll go Christian Watson. I was very impressed with Watson down the stretch here. So I could see anyone trading for Kyler, unless there's some restructure done, they would basically only have to pay the workout bonus and the base salary, and that combines to about 25 million-ish. And then they wouldn't really have much in terms of dead cap themselves going forward. He's under contract for 2 more years after this, it looks like. So in many ways, that's a bit more of an attractive situation because you can, kind of, and he might want an extension, maybe give him a little bit one, but you're just not tied to a death contract for, like I said, like the Steelers or, Vikings or something like that. I don't think Dolphins can do it because, they're in such a bad cap situation as it is. But, interesting. Raiders getting Kubiak. Is that legit or is that hopeful? I mean, if so, I get it. I think that'd be a great pickup for the Raiders. So let me know if that news broke. I got busy, couldn't join. I was trying to fix YouTube. Yeah, sorry, Eddie. Gotcha. Trying to assign a percentage to some of these quarterbacks. Yeah, I think my bigger thing is, I'm sure ownership has obviously has a say, and I think it's going to be a new coach. Like, new coach could say, because here's the thing. Like, I don't think Petzing's system worked with Kyler. I think it just didn't work for a mobile quarterback like that. Didn't play to Kyler's strengths. They get a new coach who does. They're not getting Cliff Kingsbury back, but Cliff Kingsbury had Kyler playing pretty well before Kyler got injured. Get the right coach that can do that. Maybe they just say, hey, we already have Kyler under contract. We'll roll with it. And we're set for a 5th-round pick. But yeah, like I said, I truly could see that going either way. Either Kyler or Brissett as quarterback. I'm going to take Stevenson. I'm much higher than him. I think him and Hendo will have this role next year. Even though Hendo has all the upside, I mean, Stevenson's literally running them into the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to ignore that. Stevenson's under contract, so it's not like they need to re-sign him or anything of that nature. And I swear, if CJ tries to, we better trade his. Yeah, Houston will have to decide. I mean, I think they give him the 5th year, but I don't think they are looking to, to extend them. That was top of my board. No worries. I get it. Kubiak to the Raiders, not official yet, but word is pretty much. Oh, nice. I hadn't specifically heard that, but that makes a ton of sense. I just knew that they were in the mix for a young offense guy. So this is a nice sweet spot at quarterback. I think I'm going to go. I'll go Jaden Daniels again, a guy that we were having to take 30 picks earlier last year. I missed that Burrow 150. This is the problem. Chatting and looking up Kyler's contract and Burrow went 50. What? I love Joe Burrow, but that's a take. Unstacked Joe Burrow 50. So yeah, back to this comment. Kubiak to the Raiders. I think that'd be fun. I mean, you look at what he did with the Saints offensive coordinator, then Saints were good. They just had everyone get injured. Obviously this year with Seattle, a lot of fun. The Raiders are not, they need to rebuild their offensive line, but Mendoza, you Bowers, I think probably Michael Mayer, they end up trading him, be my guess. But you Bowers, Trey Tucker, Besh, Thornton, and of course Genty. There's a lot of teams that start with worse, I'll say. So I think that could be a good landing spot for Kubiak and a great coach for Mendoza. Take Mendoza, and then I think I pick every pick. They need defensive help, no doubt, but I think I would just load up offensive line after that. Sorry, this is the issue with stream. Like, I'm not really looking at other drafters. I know it's only you in this one. You took Terry. Gotcha. Yeah, I took Jaden from the idea. It's like, oh, there's nobody else to stack. Like, I didn't get Terry, so I can easily have him as an unstacked guy. So sorry about that, Paul. Had no idea what you were going now. And I just did because I think Dart's a little high there. Kind of considered, Hurts, but I think for the most part, I would be taking Daniels and Hurts above Dart. Obviously, if you have neighbors, different story, but I just think the upside's a little higher for both those. I look forward to seeing these final coaching hires and the offense coordinator. So wild. Like I mentioned before, I get why the Browns, nobody seems to want that. But it's crazy so many people are taking them out of the running of the Philly OC. Maybe it's just they feel Sirianni is A, on the hot seat, so it could be a one-year deal. And two, maybe they feel he's too much of a micromanager. But clearly, it led to two guys getting head coaching jobs. I mean, Jonathan Gannon, also defense coordinator, but both Steichen and Kellen Moore did pretty well. I don't love this range. I'll take Jatarian Price. Yeah, I like Surratt a lot, and maybe probably not ending up in Washington given that second round pick, but I'll take Surratt here. Yeah, no, I think, obviously, extremely tough division, but Raiders could be a fun team. Their defense, I kind of do the Patriots approach. Sign some defensive guys and offensive linemen. I wouldn't really mess with skill guys. Maybe bringing a moderately cheap veteran receiver to help out. But I don't think they need to go out and try and sign away Mike Evans from Tampa or even Alec Pierce, who's going to get a bag. I probably would trade Michael Mayer. I think it's just languishing on the Raider. He's a good tight end. He would start for 20 teams in this, 15 teams at least in this league, I feel like. Not that 15 teams trade for him, but there's definitely more than a few that would probably give a fourth rounder for Michael Mayer. No, they could be a really fun team if they get Kubiak. That's wild from perspective. Obviously, you're getting Mendoza and you're getting some guys like Jantine Bowers, but the Raiders, you're going to insanely tough division. Same with the Cardinals. You're going to such an insanely tough divisions. Cardinals probably a little less because even if Stafford doesn't retire this year, it's probably next year. But a team like the Browns, that whole division is in flux and in turnover. You could make a case. You could turn around the Browns and be the top team in the division. But nobody seems to want that job. All right. Yeah, Jordan Love didn't get back to me. I was hoping he would. Did not. See, Legion, am I going to be stealing anything else from you? I pretty much promise I won't be taking JJ McCarthy. So at least you have that. That I can basically guarantee that. See what Legion does. He takes Baker. That's who I wanted, obviously. But you know what? I'm not messing around. I will take Tyler Shuck. I actually think Shuck is pretty fun. He had almost as many touchdowns as Cam Ward, who played far less games. You have Olave, Juwan Johnson, pretty good O-line, great coach in Kellen Moore. I think there's a lot of upside there. So this is generally earlier than I take them, but quarterback is just not looking good right now. When Higgins probably should have waited on Shuck then. We'll get a tight end that we feel good about. Brandon Strange. Well, whatever. this is high for me to take him this high. Quarterback just totally. You get into some of these drafts, and I think Chuck Darnold and Mendoza, Bryce Young, Stroud. If you Nico, whatever, but some of these quarterback situations get thin fast. Right now, I'm going to be way lower on Kyler, but I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think we'll probably know by mid-March, probably right before the start of free agency, if they're keeping them or if they're trading them. Chuck is fun as ice cream machine sex. Gonna fill the void time and slot, but it could be so much more. I don't know. Not that I think he's gonna be some great quarterback all time, but I think in the system with Kellen Moore, I think he can give you enough. I don't love taking him as early as I had to, but quarterback just thinned out. And I just felt strong enough at running back and receiver. Because the other thing with Shuck is he kept losing carries and snaps to Taysom Hill. I'm fairly confident that Taysom Hill will not be with the Saints next year. He's gotten less and less, people in the building who are bullish for him, I should say. And he's just way too expensive for what his role is on the team. Taysom Hill, it's contract voids, yeah. So, but I knew it either voided or is easy to get out of. So I'm pretty confident he's not back and taking up that kind of workload. So we'll see what Legion leaves me. Probably looking running back, receiver. Could go another tight end. Take Shaheed. He's back with Seattle or somewhere else. I think he can, have a nice year. We got Who Hames in here. Hope you're doing well, Who Hames. I saw you were streaming, or Mike mentioned that you were streaming earlier. I would catch it later, but hope your drafts went well. Recent teams go worst first. Pats, Bears, Commanders, not literally first for all, but Commanders went from worst. Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, people would have said, Pats have no chance in the Bills division. Washington has no chance at the Eagles and Cowboys, but, Dak got hurt and, Eagles won the division, but Super Bowl, but, the opportunity arose. So it can absolutely happen. I will take Singleton. So 2551. I appreciate that, Who Hames. And I'm sorry you reached out to me about joining the stream the other night. I did not get the notification, saw it today, thought it was today, but it was not. So I apologize for that. Said that all stream draft stream strong. Oh my, I love it. So yeah, Juwan Johnson definitely, if he gets back to me. So one mind Mendoza. Appreciate it. Yeah, we will definitely have to do some streams together soon. A lot to talk about, that is for sure. So Legion sitting 2461. Oh, I like this build. Longer goes Mendoza. Let's see if I can get Juan back to me. All right, so liking where I'm at. Definitely had to reach for Shuck, but outside of that, pretty good about this team. 3 running backs I feel good about, then hitting up a couple rookies, kind of balancing rookies and receivers. Probably need to catch up a little at receiver. We'll see if the third quarterback materializes. I think I will take either Willis or Jones here. So I'll get one of them. Jones, we know more where he'll be, but Willis, I think, is fine. I'll do Willis. I already have a couple Jones teams. I'll probably end up with the field at both of those spots. Actually, I'll probably be over the field just because I'm not going to take a lot of, Ty Simpsons and Michael Penix and guys like that. So really focus on receiver right now. I might stick with 2 tight ends. Not that I got an elite guy, but I think Juwan Johnson is very mispriced, and Brandon Strange, as we saw, can be a very good tight end as well. You see me range sniping the ball. Yeah, I need to focus on receiver here. Yeah, where Willis ends up is, I think Kyler Brissett will probably go somewhere that needs a starting quarterback. I think Willis goes somewhere else. Mendoza's obviously going to the Raiders. After that, though, what are the Jets going to do? I have no clue. And Fields is under contract; they can get out of it. It ain't Tyrod, it ain't Brady Cook. So, where did the Jets go? Is, to me, one of the bigger questions out there. I've seen, they have 2 first-round picks because of the trades they made. Maybe they could get Ty Simpson later, but that's not the answer for this year. Dolphins, maybe they fit Malik Willis under contract. I could see them trading for Jacoby Brissett, not Kyler. But yeah, this quarterback carousel will be truly interesting once we start getting those dominoes to fall. And then, I think Matt Stafford's probably back, but as Sean McVay said, we give him a little time to see. Aaron Rodgers, is he retired or is he back in Pittsburgh? Kirk Cousins, is he retired? Joe Flacco, probably retiring, but if I'm the Colts or the Chiefs, I'm begging Flacco not to retire because worst case scenario, it's just sitting on your bench with, Daniel Jones or Mahomes. Receiver really thinned out. Take Kyle Williams share. But yeah, I mean, Joe Flacco, if either one of those quarterbacks can't start the year, I'd be okay with Joe Flacco to handle a couple games. And then he's at the point of a veteran where he's not going to care if he plays 3 games and then, Daniel Jones is taking over. Or somebody like Kirk Cousins probably doesn't want to go somewhere like that. Or like signing Marcus Mariota. Like, they're not going to sign up for those situations near as much. K-Dot. Hey, good seeing Hulk Smash Potatoes. Be doing well. This is another big board draft. Did a little board, already one big board. This will be on my last big board of the night. But for those who weren't in earlier, I'm going to start doing streams pretty much every day. Most days it's going to be around 1 p.m. Eastern time, but I will do some night streams and mix it up different times from time to time as well. So starting tomorrow should be 1 p.m. Eastern, probably the rest of this week. I think it will probably be that time. But we'll let people know in our Discord and on Twitter, when I'm going live. Yeah. That was my bad. I was looking for Trey Harris. I was going to pull him up, but I had it sorted by ADP instead of my rank. I think Marvin Mims, as I said earlier, Mims, the 11th, 12th round, 13th round Mims we were getting definitely didn't pay off, right? But 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th round Mims, one of the better offenses in the league. I just don't see Denver adding a receiver. So it comes down to, how does it break down after Sutton? Is it all Franklin? Is it Franklin Bryant? Is it Franklin Bryant Mims? Is it, maybe Mims takes a bigger step? I mean, he's had to in the playoffs and almost, he almost won them the game with that big catch, and how that game turned out. So same kind of thing with Rashard Bateman, like under contract. Montez Walker, Hopkins is gone, I'm presuming. So, Bateman, not the year we expected. Waterfall, over 100-point difference. But, yeah, I just think they could take a shot with him. But let's see what I want to do here. Running back. I'll go receiver. I'm going to take the shot on Mims. I know I could probably wait, but I just think there's enough upside there. And a lot of these guys, Keenan Allen could retire, but, he could definitely be starting somewhere. Jack Besh, who took earlier, Christian Kirk. Yeah, I think he goes somewhere. Slayton, Flournoy, I mentioned Isaiah Bond. Don't love the Browns, but 19th round Isaiah Bond. Okay. So the receiver is kind of deep. Tony Williams is a fun rookie. Definitely some other guys. How do Christian Kirk? I know didn't have a big year, but another year removed from the injury. Yeah, I don't think he's back in Houston, but actually that's probably a good thing. He could find a better role somewhere else, and maybe a better quarterback situation. How many drafts are you in? I think this is just my third big board draft, and I've done like 3 or 4 little boards. So only like 7-8 drafts right now. Someone told you Bateman was the odd man out, but the same person drafted 15% average, so you win some, you lose some. Yeah, they gave Bateman given him like 2 extensions in the last 3 years, so it was just shocking to me how bad it went. Exactly how I feel. Wide receiver darts are plentiful. Yep. We can extend the drive. Sean Mitchell, saying GM, how many drafts you just. Like I said to Huhames, I think this is my 7th or 8th draft. This is just my 3rd big board, and 3 or 4 little boards. Or so 6 or 7 draft, yeah. But I'll probably do at least one more night. P. Fairtell got me on Eric McAllister. What are your thoughts on him? Yeah, I think Schneid's high on him as well. Schneid was in here earlier. You can tell I had that show the other night. I mean, I think he's had a good college career. I'll be interested to see. I can't remember if he's at the Senior Bowl or not, or at any of the events. I don't think he's a top. I don't think he's a 2nd or 3rd round guy. Now, he could be like this year's Kyle Williams, who doesn't initially look that way, but Kyle Williams had a great circuit. He had a great Senior Bowl, a great combine. Next thing you know, he's a 3rd round pick. McAllister is a different type of receiver than that, but I could see that kind of being his run out. So yeah, he's one of those guys that like 3rd tier receivers, some of whom are going to be 4th, 5th, 6th rounders who we never hear from again, or at least fantasy purposes wise, for a couple of years. But others will be guys who, they just earn a role, or they get the right situation, like DK and Io Manor for Tennessee. There just wasn't much in front of them. They would earn a situation pretty quickly. So I think we're just going to go running back here. A lot of guys to take down here. MB from Indiana, Justice Hill. I think I'm going to take from Indiana. Started at Maryland for a couple years, looked good at Indiana. I could see him being like a 4th round pick, being a number 2 back somewhere. Not, 3rd rookie, but I had 3 guys I felt good on to start: Gibbs, Henry, Mondre, and then 3 rookies to round it out. So my team: Jaden, Chuck, Malik Willis, Gibbs, Henry, Ramondre Stevenson, Price, Singleton, MB, Higgins, Tyson, Watson, Surratt, Shaheed, Kyle Williams, Marvin Mims, Christian Kirk, Strange, Jawan Johnson, Kate Otten. We'll look at Legion's team: 3683, Hurts, Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, Cam Cadaboo, Montgomery, Connor, Brian Robinson. Like that, feel good about the first 3 running backs, and then could easily see all 3 of these guys having landing spots that can pay off these ADPs: Chase, McLaurin, Diggs, Addison, Debo, Jacoby Lane. So some rookies here with Lane and Bernard, and then Torrey Wharton at the end. If they don't re-sign Shaheed, Wharton I think has a great future with Seattle. If you re-sign Shaheed, I worry slightly. His Cup is under contract for another year. Oh, maybe they move on from him. Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, Pat Freiermuth, I mean, as I said before, Hawk and Framingham are just basically free and likely starting tight ends. And then Mark Andrews, I think, is not his best year, but ideally Lamar is healthier, hopefully, and then no likely, probably really good things from Mark Andrews. And just mentioning, wide receiver, I mean, there's just such a mix here of guys who just don't go drafted. Slayton Bond, I think Washington, Hollywood probably going somewhere. Mario Douglas, rookie, Skylar Bell, Jalen Naylor, number 3, Hillman. And just a lot of guys that I could see end up with some good landing spots, some rookies here. A few vets, young guys like Montez Walker, like somebody else on the Ravens outside of Flowers and Andrews are going to catch footballs this year. Eric McAllister, as just mentioned, Luke McCaffrey, with Washington if they move on from Debo. So a lot of depth receivers. Malcolm Field's another rookie I like. So John Mechie played well down the stretch, though I like him on the Jets. I think receiver is definitely the deepest position right now. That can change as we solidify the depth charts and stuff like that. But also snorts protein powder. No, I mean, it's one of those things, and I heard PPR Tyler and I talk about it, is the first couple receivers are not necessarily locks, but feel kind of good about. But then you have this whole mix of like probably wide receiver 5 to 15. The way you order them could be very different. I have my take on it, but guys like Concepcion and Surratt and a few others in that mix, 5, 6, 7. But others, like I know people who like Omar Cooper above Surratt. I think that's a reasonable take. So like McAllister is probably on the back end for me, like probably wide receiver 14, 15. Still could get taken, probably be taken 3rd, 4th round. Jalen Lee, another late receiver, assuming mentions here, but so much is yet to be determined with these games like East-West game and Team Bowl, and then of course the Combine. I think he's probably going to get a bag. I could see Seattle investing in him, just whether they win or lose the Super Bowl, saying JSN is still cheap for another year or two. Darnold is a steal at his current price. They need to figure out Walker, of course, but they might not just let she take the money and run. That's my point. I read who was on whose stream, but they drafted Adam Randall, so I watched him. I think I like him more than Tracy. Same running back is not as deep this year. I feel good about 6-ish guys, 6, 7 guys, and then you have a whole mix of guys like Henby, who I took, Adam Randall, Mike Washington Jr., Cam Black, the other Indiana back, a bunch of guys who could be, decent in the right situation, and also we need to see how they look in these games and combine and stuff. Losimo took him apparently. So Losimo's a sharp drafter. Skylar Bell has gotten good reports out of the Shrine Bowl. Not surprising, because I'm surprised he wasn't at the Senior Bowl. Like Kuhim said, late round dart, I would do real like. He's a guy, played at Connecticut, dominated at Connecticut, but not just like against some of their weaker competition, even against some better schools they faced. And he's another guy like 3rd round mix. Where he goes, you could easily end up with a nice landing spot. Jeff Cooley or Arroyo ever start? I mean, Barner just played so well this year. I think Arroyo gets mixed in. I think Arroyo's kind of look like Isaiah Likely going forward. Go some games. If Barner's ever out, Arroyo can do more. But when they drafted Arroyo, I don't think they knew exactly what they had in Barner. I think they thought Barner, and this is how he played at Michigan, like red zone threat, can catch the ball a little bit, but mainly in the red zone. Just really good blocking tight end. Gardner showed he's a lot more than that. So it's going to be tough for Arroyo to start over him. All right, I'm going to head on out of here. We'll be back tomorrow, like I said, at 1 p.m., but double check on Twitter or Discord. Thanks everyone for joining me. Had a lot of fun drafting, talking ball. We'll be doing this basically every day. And really happy to be back, and hope you guys are enjoying your drafts as well. And I will catch you next time. Peace.